Okay, so we are on section 1.5, and this is adding and subtracting real numbers. The first concept that I want to review with you is something called the additive inverse. And the concept of this is that -5 plus 5 equals 0. It's the same thing as saying 5 plus -5 equals 0. Now let me demonstrate that. So -5 plus 5, that's kind of like saying you dug a hole -5 feet down. So this is -5 feet. Then you add 5 feet of dirt back in, so you fill this hole back up. So where are you at after that? You're back at 0. Now that's the same thing as if you made like a little dirt pile 5 feet above the ground. And then you took away 5 feet of dirt. So then you took this away. Let me get my eraser. So you took 5 feet of dirt away. Where would you end up? At the same spot, right? 0 feet. So they both equal 0. And that's called the additive inverse. We're going to be dealing with that a little bit more in this section. Another concept is the absolute value of a number. Absolute value, if you look at this number line right here, the absolute value, it looks like these bars. Like if you had absolute value of -4, it's like wrapped in these straight bars. And what the absolute value does, it asks you, how far away is this number from 0? So if you're at -4, you are 4 away from 0. So absolute value of -4 equals a +4. Now the absolute value of +4 is also 4, because if you're right here, you are also 4 away from 0. Okay, so what that basically means is that any negative number inside the absolute value, like -3, it turns it into a positive. If it's already a positive number, like absolute value of 8, then that stays a positive. So that's what absolute value does. Okay, so for these problems, they want us to see which one is less, greater than, or equal. So the absolute value of 3 and the absolute value of -3, we know that the absolute value of -3 becomes 3, and this becomes 3. So these are just equal. Same thing with this. Absolute value of -3 equals a +3. This is already +3, so this is equal. What about -3 and absolute value of 3? Well, the absolute value of -3 becomes a +3. This stays a -3. So -3 is less than this absolute value of -3. And then we got absolute value of 3 that stays at 3. And then we have a -3. So that is greater than the -3. Okay, so that's the intro to this section. Now let's go on to example 1 of section 1.5.